So this particular question came from, I don't know who, but someone who left a comment who essentially the idea was, I set appointments. I'm trying to get more appointments booked over the phone, but I'm running into a lot of resistance. I'm not getting the kind of results that I'd like to see. What can I do, or what can you do, Dave, to help me out? So I thought about the question and compiled 5 different recommendations that I think cover the main aspects of where I see agents struggle the most with setting appointments. Now, again, to clarify, this isn't particular to any particular niche or any product. This is relevant training no matter what it is that you're setting appointments for over the phone. So this will relate to you because this is generic and specific types of recommendations that will increase, I think, the 3 variables, I think if my math is right, that make the biggest difference in your ability to set appointments. The first being the amount of connects that you make. The second being the amount of objections you hear. And then how you go through the process of actually thinking about your goal with the appointments. So let me go ahead and jump in right here and talk about what I think really is probably a bigger problem for more agents than anything. How many of you guys, I'm curious if you want to throw a number down in the chat for you guys that do call your own appointments, how many of your leads, I don't care what they are, how many of your leads never pick the phone up? Okay, you're calling your leads, you've called them, you called them again, morning, noon, afternoon, evening, and they're not picking up. What percentage of the total doesn't do that? So while I wait for that answer below, I have found that this number, I think, has gone up to an extent more so in recent years, where maybe 20 to 30% of people's leads, a lot of this depends on the area and some other factors we'll talk about, where they literally are unanswerable. You cannot get these people on the phone. And I don't know about you, but when I call, I would prefer a yes or a no, because nothing's worse than a maybe or I don't know. So I want to get an outcome from a call. And so the first part of this training is what can we do to get an outcome, okay? Meaning a yes, come see me tomorrow, or no, go to hell. First thing, of course, is call times. So it's really important that going into this process that you don't assume that the only time you're going to set appointments is in the evening for 1 hour between 7 and 8. It's better to go into this conservatively, thinking you're going to have to call from 9 to 11, 11 to 1, and then 5 to 8 in order to set your next day. And then from your experience on what you go through to set those appointments, determine based on that really how much call time you need to do. So the first tip is you've got to go into this calling like a madman. And it's not enough if you have 20 leads, you make 20 calls, you get an appointment or two, most don't pick up, and then you stop and it's 9:30. You have got to call them again. You call them from 9:30 to 10. You call them from 10 to 10:30. And then you call them from 10:30 to 11. You make it known you are trying to reach these people with a lot of activity and a lot of volume. Again, one thing I've noticed, because I don't really talk about this, I assume you just call these people to death through this period of time, is that a lot of people don't do that. They put them down, go back and do something else. They come back in the evening, call through them once, and then go back down again, maybe in the evening, this time 6 to 8, call through them once for that 20, 30-minute period. That doesn't cut it, okay? You have got to get them so curious with the volume of your calls that they cannot help themselves but to not answer. Now, another thing, again, I want to incorporate here is the triple dial method. I think I learned this from a mortgage protection agent, maybe real estate. Most of us, when we dial number once, goes to voicemail, and then we just hang up. We don't leave a voicemail. It's usually the typical training. However, what I want you to incorporate immediately is to start calling right after you hang up the first time. Wait 5 seconds, whatever. Call again a second time. You're going to get people to answer on that second call. If they don't pick up on that second call, call again on the third time. Now, let me explain why this is good. So most of the time, the cold calls and the telemarketer calls that people get are initiated from a call center, probably 80, 90% of the time. They're just going to call one time because what they're doing is they're running a massive dialer on a lot of different numbers, and they're just waiting for someone to pick up. And with the amount of calls being done, it's likely that someone will. So this technique is unnecessary. However, if you double or triple dial, the beauty here is that you're going to capture the attention of a lot more people because, first of all, it's not done all the time. Second of all, people are going to start second guessing the nature of the phone call. Is this someone I know? Is this somebody that's in trouble? Should I pick this up? Because now we have done essentially a pattern interrupt, right? We're doing something that's unexpected because this is unusual. And what you're going to find if you do this with every lead, you're going to get more people to pick up the phone. And they may call like, who is this? You just go right into your script and go into the reason why you're calling. And I promise you, if they're interested, they're going to pattern interrupt from being upset or what's going on to saying they're going to be really intent on listening, by the way, right? Because you've gotten their attention. They're going to listen to you. And if they're interested, they're going to convert that conversation to saying, oh, this is what this is about. Or if they're going to tell you to go to hell, they would have told you that anyway. Because now they're upset because you broke their safety valve where they don't like to deal with telemarketers. Yeah, so a couple of numbers here. Look at these numbers, man. So I asked earlier, if you're just joining, how many people here are in a position to where they literally call and nobody picks up the phone? Now, for you guys that answered, tell me what kind of leads you did are working. That would be interesting too. Steve says 80% don't pick up. What kind of leads you working, man? Perry, 65%. Race, 80%. Dwayne, 15%. That's good. That's because he's working direct mail. Ron, 68%. That's crazy. So 2 out of 3 don't pick up. Shannon, hey Shannon, 70%. It's incredible. When I say what kind of leads, are they direct mail, Facebook, telemarketing, that kind of thing? What I find is that, just for your guys' edification, Facebook leads, hardest people to get to pick up in some respects. Telemarketing, it's funny, you think because they got picked up on the phone and were generated over the phone, they'd be more likely to pick up. Sometimes they're difficult too. Facebook leads, not Facebook leads. Yeah, that makes sense, Stephen. Kind of what I was expecting. Direct mail, less, depends on the areas you're working, but I see about 20 to 30% don't pick up ever. So anyways, where I'm going with this is that for you guys that want to purchase Facebook leads, my advice is to door knock these and expect that you have to door knock them. They just do not pick up the phone. I don't know if Jason's on the line here. I work with Jason. Thank you, Compass. Yeah, I've tried 3 calls, calling triple threat call. It works well. We're trained a guy locally. Well, he's from Mississippi, came up and trained with me. And the first presentation we did, this lady answered the door and she says, "Who the hell is this?" And it says, "Oh, well, we're here because you requested information about Facebook." She says, "Man, I've been getting calls 20 times a day from these same people all the time. They're driving me nuts. I don't ever pick up the phone on these people. What do you want with me?" She was mad. And this is a video I talked about creating magic at the door. Jason did a great job. He took this lady who was mad as hell and turned her into a closer for like $55 a month. It's beautiful. But that's the point I'm making, is that this woman never would have picked up the phone because their Facebook leads, a lot of them are done by surveys, win a free iPad. You got to answer 20 questions, and essentially a lead generation scheme. And one of those questions is, are you interested in burial insurance? And so what happens is that these people are overwhelmed with calls, and then they're chronic survey filler outers because they've learned they get money when they create or do these surveys or possibly win something. So it's kind of a whole funny ordeal. But the point is that a lot of these people do this and they understand the game, so they don't pick up the phone, right? But if you go see them, a lot of times those leads are actually pretty good.